Hello, my name is Alex Papp. I'm the Grid Operations Field Manager for Station Maintenance in Central Zone. We've prepared a short video for Hydro One's station maintenance function to demonstrate the critical role it plays in the safe and efficient operation of Ontario's electrical power system. I hope you enjoy the video.
Today we're out at Malvern Transformer Station. It's a Hydro One owned station in Scarborough. Patrol maintenance job is to keep the lights on. And the way we do that is we maintain the electrical equipment switchgear in switchyards from 500,000 volts down to 27.6. The way it works in our hydro stations, everything's kind of paired. If I want to take a component out, in this case an oil breaker, do maintenance on it, I can close a tie switch which bypasses it, so we can take it out and work on it safely but not affect the end user. I believe our high voltage system's in good shape. We run a really good maintenance program. You can't run a company on breakdown maintenance, you got to do it on preventative maintenance. And we have a really good program on all our switchgear and transformers to perform routine maintenance. It increases the life of your equipment. What we do is we take breaker oil analysis samples of these breakers, and if it starts to break down, the dielectric medium of the oil starts to break down, we change the oil. So then it's just like change the oil in your car, it's ready to go again. As in this equipment here, these breakers, these are workhorses. They could be 40, 50 years old. They're pretty much, they'll just go on forever. As long as you get parts, like as in the bushings, it's a workhorse. Yeah, we are starting to upgrade a lot of our old equipment at Pickering Nuclear Generating Station. We maintain and control the switchyards. We used to have air blast breakers there. They're being upgraded to SF6 breakers. So we are changing out our old equipment. We're changing out older transformers as they fail. And on February the 7th, we had a live animal contact. In this case, the raccoon got up on top. He had electrical contact, which caused a fireball. It was like an energized cloud, and it took out both the J and the Q buses at Malvern. 65 megawatts of load was interrupted. Once the fault cleared through protections, through P&C, the operators re-energized the buses and got the load back. He did an investigation, looked around with a flashlight, it was in the wee hours, and he found a raccoon on the top of the breaker. The damage the raccoon did to the breaker, it burnt up the 6 bushings. The bushings pretty much act as an isolator for the conductor to travel down through the breaker, be interrupted, and out the other side. So it's caused an outage that's going to be a couple weeks in length. We had to get 6 new bushings from our central maintenance shops. They're going to have to be installed into the breaker. We got issues at our stations with animals. It's one of the main reasons we have outages, are animal contacts. And we put a program together, animal abatement. We're going around filling in cable trays, trying to give the raccoons and squirrels and animals not a reason to come into our station. However, we do run into quite a few outages in the winter because the equipment, if it's loaded, it's running warm, and animals tend to like to stay warm in the winter, and it forces them to climb up on our equipment. So I'd say animals are a major cause of fire interruptions. Okay, as you can see, this trap here, when the trappers try to lure the raccoons in, they'll put in little sausage rolls, or sometimes they put peanut butter and jam, anything. Raccoons pretty much like to eat anything, so just to try to track them in there. In this case, he's using a sausage roll.
Hydro One, Sector 3, Lucky Thompson.
Yeah, it's Tony Gottschall at Cherrywood.
Hi Tony, how can I help you?
Okay, just to give you an update, W3L540, it doesn't look like this breaker is going to reseal, so we are going to have to make some repairs to it.
So Cherrywood W3L540 has a major air leak and you're going to be forcing it out of service?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, what kind of time frame are you looking at here?
We're probably going to be at least 2 to 3 days just to figure out what's going on with it, and then probably the better part of the week to make the repairs.
Okay, so about a week to repair?
That's correct.
Sounds good. I'll call the ISO, get the approval, open the breaker, open the disconnect switches, and I'll give you a call back.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, Tony, thanks, man.
Thanks very much. Yep, bye for now.
Have a good day.
Outages come into us from different work groups, either provincial lines, stations, and they apply to us 30 days in advance, and we process it in the time frame, and we put it into the control room 1 week prior to the outage itself. We got planned outages, and all of a sudden there was a forced outage. Some piece of equipment is leaking oil or something that has to come out of service right away. That will affect all our plans. So we'll have planned outages that now will have to be rescheduled. It cannot go at the same time because it just can't go. It's frustrating. It happens a lot on Friday afternoons. And we get a lot on Friday afternoons because of weekends. It comes up on the weekend and we can't do it, so you got to get on the phone right away and get in touch with everybody. Could be several work groups involved in the outage because we'll bundle outages together. Because once you take one piece of equipment out, you want to get everything that's needed to be done on that piece of equipment. And in operating planning, we have job shadowing quite a bit.
Yeah, we've had to deal with cancellations before. Yeah, if the permit can't be applied, certain steps down of the plant couldn't be executed, we'd have to cancel the job up here. That can be really frustrating, actually. I mean, you get you set up all your equipment here. A lot of guys are ready to go up here, and then you wait for a couple hours, and then the job is canceled.
I spent 7 years in Southern Ontario working at Darlington, Bowmanville, Cherrywood. Major differences, I would say, would be climate, of course, as you can see here today. When I lived in Southern Ontario, if it snowed, I had to hurry to get home to shovel it off the driveway, otherwise it would melt. Here we don't have that problem. It's here for a big portion of the growing season is pretty short here. Yeah, mostly I think what would draw someone to the north more than anything would be quality of life, air quality, possibly traffic. The traffic isn't here. At times you'll have people in Thunder Bay complain about traffic, and they really don't have an appreciation of what really traffic is until you've actually gone to Southern Ontario and tried to get anywhere across the 401 at around 5 or 6 o'clock. Now that's traffic. There's actually an intersection in Thunder Bay where if you're in the worst case scenario, you don't make it through the lights. You may have to wait for one light and then you're going through, and there was a big uproar about it that we really had to do something about the traffic in Thunder Bay. And I had another gentleman that I was escorting from head office, and I was giving a ride down Highway 11, and we've been traveling for about an hour and we hadn't passed any vehicles going in either direction. And it was winter, there was a few feet of snow, and he seemed a little nervous, and I asked him, I said, well, you seem a little nervous, what's the problem? He says, well, is the highway closed? I said, no, don't get nervous, we'll be there soon. The biggest deterrent for living up here would be the time spent away from family. You're usually out of town. The area that we cover would be from Pickle Lake, what would be about 600 kilometers northwest of here, to White River, Manitouwadge, which would be another 5 hours east of here. I got into electrical maintenance just because the work is so varied. You could be working on everything from SF6 gas, which these breakers are for the cap bank, to oil breakers, to working on transformers, hydraulics. The work is varied. The regional maintainer is not as high profile as say the lines are. If you run into anyone that asks you and you say that you work for Hydro One, they say, oh, you must climb towers. Lines is very high profile, electrical maintenance is not. Just because the equipment is more isolated, out of view, you don't see it as often, you don't see the guys, there isn't as much of an awareness or appreciation for what the equipment that we work on. Electrical maintenance performs a critical role in the power system itself. We maintain the equipment that actually isolates. We're like the breaker in a house. You'll have the lines running in your house, and then you'll have a breaker in your panel. You're looking at the breaker in your panel in your house is the equivalent of one of those oil breakers with 2,000 gallons of oil in it. It performs the same task. It isolates, it trips the circuits off, it'll isolate it for you, along with power factor correction and stuff that it doesn't really apply to house wiring. But if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to control the power system. In your house, you'll have a small transformer for your door chimes. Well, that transformer that you'll see behind me here, it does the same thing. It'll drop the higher the transmission voltage down to a lower voltage that you could actually use. One of the major events that we had to deal with over the years is probably we had a blizzard in '96 in Marathon, and the transformers there blew up. They failed, and we responded to that. Managed to get to that. Then it's about 300 kilometers east of here, and then the blizzard hit after we were able to get to the town, and then the other transformer, both transformers, failed also. And we were there for 9-10 days. The highway was closed for a few days. That type of weather was difficult to deal with.
The blackout, which was just to go through the events, and walking into a station like this and to Cherrywood in a completely blacked out station, and our communities around here were completely blacked out. To live through that and to restore the grid was unbelievable. A great thing to live through in your working career. Also, when we had our T17 transformer failure at Cherrywood, events that you probably would never want to duplicate, but the fact that you went through it was absolutely life enriching for myself. To live through that, to experience that, you'll never get that again. Hopefully never get that again.
Toronto Hydro works very closely with Hydro One and the station services end. When switchgear is being installed at one of our stations, Hydro One has to put their equipment in, tying into our equipment to feed us the power.
I can describe Hydro One electrical maintenance and TNC performance in 4 words. They work safe, they are dependable, they are reliable, and efficient. When they come to work, they always prepared and they well organized. And because of that, they do work very efficient and very quality work for me and for OPG.